So, Spud, it's been at least 17 years since I was last talking. It feels like 17 years.
So much has changed. I have aged, but not as much as you.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
You look skinnier. Your diet's going well, huh? You do look skinnier.
Yeah, it's going really well. It's going really well, but I've stopped doing it for the most part. No, that's a lie. I've been just doing it 5 days a week, and then at the weekend, I live. I have nice food. I have things like bread. And bread. I had a chip sandwich yesterday.
Oh wow, double carbs. Do you have any mayonnaise on it as well? Oh, even better. Oh,
the garlic mayonnaise, yeah.
Jeez, I'm just fucking starving here. Although I'm eating like a pig, so I am since I came home as well. Well, I mean, it's a weird one because like we were down on the building site and all that kind of stuff, and we just had breakfast and then we didn't eat then until nightfall. So, well, no, that's a bad one because nightfall here is like 4 o'clock now, but like till 7, sometimes 8, you know. And the stomach be falling out of you with the hunger. Then you come home and just eat the big fucking huge thing of pierogi or something. And you're like, oh yeah. And then I had to do more writing work. And it was flat out. But the thing is, like, it's a weird thing. It's like the 2 weeks felt like a fucking retreat, man. Do you know? Because
right.
Honestly, I was so chilled out and I just went with it. Just totally just went with it. And you know the thing with the HDA I've been talking about before, just like fucking surrender control. Just let it be. You know, just go with it.
Yeah.
And I went into the 2 weeks just going, right, I am making no fucking decisions for the next 2 weeks. Whatever happens is going to happen. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, I'm not going to be stupid and leave my finger when a saw is coming at it or anything. You know, I'm going to decide.
Should I move my finger?
You know, I am going like, is this free will? Do I have an actual choice here? Can I leave my finger or take my finger out? Oh, well, I mean, it's already Shut the fuck up! You have free will. You have. Shut up! Anyone who says you don't, okay? Of course you have free will. You go into a shop and you're like, do I want a Snickers or a Mars? Well, because of the cosmic planetary alignment, you already actually know. Shut up! I want a Mars bar. No, I don't. I want a Snickers because it has peanuts and I'll have more energy. Yes, that's what I want. Anyway, what was I ranting on about? Honestly, I just went in with 2 weeks of just going, right, this is all cool. I'm just going to let it be. And whatever happens, happens. I'm not going to fight against that or force against that. And man, was I rewarded. I told you earlier before we started recording, I was given like 100 of the wood cookies, or I think they're called cookies in America, wood slices here for my engraving. Cookies. 100 of them for nothing. Like one fella, we drove into his yard and he's like, oh yeah, just pick whatever log you want. I'm like, yeah, I want something that's like 25 centimeters diameter. And he's like, yeah, whatever. There's fucking thousands of zlotys worth there. Just go in and have a look. Take whatever you want. 5 minutes later, I turned around and he has like a bundle of them. He has like 15 of them. And he's like, you want these? These are old ones I never use. I'm like, yeah, of course I want them. And I'm like, how much do you want? He's like, no, I don't want that. And I'm like, man, I can sell these for like at least 30 euros each. Like, by 15, I have no idea what that is in maths. 47 shekels, you know? And he's like, that's fine, take him. I know you, you're fine, you're cool. I'm like, already, like, that's...
But do you get a phone call then the next day? You must now kill man. You owe me favour.
But then, like 2 days later, we went down to the carpenter, and the carpenter had set up his big mill, the massive fucking yokes for doing boards or planks. He had set his thing up. He had like 6 different logs set up for me, and he cut them. And I came home with like 100, 120 or something. And they're all like, it's just pure profit. I'm like, this is amazing. Just by letting go of control for 2 weeks and letting shit happen, I got this massive reward. And also an even other one that I'm not going to talk about on the podcast, but I'll tell you about later, which just blew my fucking mind. Like, I'm sitting on the couch with Aga last night talking about it, and we're just like, life's mad. Life is fucking mad. It's mad. And it's even madder when you just go, just let things be. Just let things happen, and things will happen and just fall into place, and you're like, yeah, it's fucking cosmic level shit, like, you know, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, so that was my 2 weeks, Tommy.
So yeah, your holiday for 2 weeks. So so kind of just getting out of your own way, kind of more than just allowing things to happen. It's like is it more like if someone rings, says, "Come to my house tonight," rather than going, "I don't want to go to your house," you just go, "Right, I'm going to his house tonight." Is that what you mean, or what exactly is the practice of letting it happen?
It's I think it's more not forcing stuff. So it's kind of like say to use a kind of building thing. Say you have like a big dirty rusty nail in a plank, and you're like, shit, this plank's 200 years old. The nail is 200 years old. I can hurt myself here and end up needing the tetanus. So how do I take this out properly? So you try it and you try and force it, and and it's not working, and you're just like, no, wait now, hold on now. If I just get a piece of timber and raise it up higher, I have a bit of a fulcrum, and then pop, gone. It's not forcing stuff. It's just taking the easier.
Right,
Being what's the ninja thing? It'd be like water, you know?
Yeah, so it's like work smarter, not harder type, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Work smarter, but also just don't force anything. And like it's, you know, if I was in touch with anyone and trying to meet up with anyone, it's just like don't even suggest, right? Oh yeah, we'll meet on Tuesday at 6. Just be like, okay, so when's free? Instead, it's giving the other person making the other person take the choice for you. You know, it's hard to do. You know, because like
I can imagine. Yeah.
You know, like I'm not a control freak, but anyone who's into this magic, occulty, consciousness raising stuff, like you're into that because you want control over your life. But then you have to say, no, I'm going to surrender control and just go with what the world gives me. Just gonna see what happens. You know. And Jesus, it's mad. Because, like, nothing happened for 13 days. Nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. But I was having fun, and I was learning lots, and it was good. And then suddenly I'm given this massive reward. And then on the last day, this even massiver, bigger reward. And it's like, there you are, there's proof. There's proof. Yeah. Like, I don't need to do anything now in my life. I just need to just go with it. You know, force nothing. Just let it go. Just see what happens. It's mad, absolutely mad. You know?
Yeah, there was a kind of thing that I noticed a couple of years ago. And it's similar, but on a kind of different kind of side of it was this whole kind of notion of, you know, for worry and stuff like that. That like, you know, that there's a way of, again, not forcing that too. That you just kind of go, right, let the bad thing happen. You know, in your mind, you know, where you play it out, and you spend so much of your energy trying to work out, how will I not let this bad thing happen? And you just go, let the bad thing happen. And invariably, the bad thing doesn't happen. But I'm not saying it's a thing that's going to, you know, stop you from having any bad thing. But it certainly seems to have the same type of effect that you're talking about there, where when you're not forcing it, not trying to control it, when you kind of take the reins off and just go, right, the bad thing happens, you know.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of seems to, you know, open out, unfold, and it's like that cliche stupid thing of, you know, once you stop fighting against the current of the stream and just go with the stream, it's easier. And you go, yeah, shut up, you, I hate that. But there is something to it, you know. There is a kind of a thing.
You know.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, unless you go, no, I literally live at the top of the stream. I have to go this way.
I have to.
So what about getting out of the stream and just walk up, you know, the path?
I am a spawning salmon. I need to get there.
It's literally my function.
No, of course I get that, but it was really an eye opener for me to just go, right, just let what happened, and sure, whatever, you know. Look, there was. Were
you doing any? Sorry, I'm an awful man for interrupting. So go on.
No, but I ramble too much. No,
I'll allow you.
There were close calls. I mean, I stepped on a, because the house is 200 years old, you know, that we're doing up, so it's a strongly built house, but parts of it are just in tatters, and other parts are fucking strong as oak. Like there's oak beams and stuff like that running through it now. So it's strong, but there's other parts of it where you rip up stuff and it'll be damp as after getting into it, so the wood is rotted or whatever. But like, you know, there's 12-inch kind of nails and stuff. They're 200 years old.
Right.
And I walked on one, and I felt it go right up beside my heel.
No!
I felt it going on the sock, you know, beside my heel. And I just went, I was lucky. And it was it. Like, it was just fine. It was like, because I just kind of had this feeling that I was being looked after or something. You know what I mean? There was something, because like the old me would have just fucking freaked out. I need new fucking shoes. But like, for like the rest, another 10 days after that, I was wearing the same shoes, whatever. I had a hole in them. Yeah. All right, I had thick socks. It's fine. You know, it's all right.
It didn't happen. It's like that whole thing of someone comes in and kind of slips and goes, oh, just I nearly broke my neck. No, you didn't. You nearly slipped.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Glass half full, glass half empty there, mate, is it? You know? Look, it's a weird thing. But like,
So
it's well, I mean, it's a different world when, like, you don't have your kids there. Like I was saying to Aga, like, she was like surprised at how chilled and relaxed I was with coming home with it, because it's like, you know, you had a lot of work, you were busy all the time. It's like, yeah, I was busy all the time, but like coming home in the evening, like, I came home, had dinner, and then I do my football stuff, the writing. But like, I had silence. There was no one coming to me giving me news, or there was no kids hanging out with me, or all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So like coming home yesterday or on Saturday, and like yesterday by 2:00 I was wrecked. You know, I'd had one afternoon with the kids, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot how hard this is. I said, they need me to watch them all the time. Like, I have to make sure they don't die. I forgot. You know, it's mad.
walk into the house 10 minutes later. Wow, why have I a headache immediately?
I don't know, but women are so much better at it, which is a broad, sweeping generalization.
No, I don't think women are much better at it. It's just men are particularly bad at it.
Yeah, okay, men are bad at it. Okay, all right, yeah, we can go with that then. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you get any Star Ruby or Star Ruby equivalents, or where did all that land? I can imagine it was hard to shit out.
No, I was getting
ferry-ons in the middle of a building site.
No, the Star Ruby went really well until the last couple of days, where it just got too busy to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I have the article more or less ready to go up on Adventures of Move, but like, it's just the last couple of days we were under pressure to get stuff done because, you know, obviously I'm returning back. So no, but like, it went really well. Like,
Right.
isn't it mad that, like, for everyone that was doing it on the Discord, it's a very similar kind of trajectory of it. It's like, first couple of days, this is a bit weird, I'm getting stuff wrong, I don't feel properly, and then it clicks, and then everyone's like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And me and you had a similar thing with like your meditation took off probably faster than mine
big
did.
time.
But then mine settled in, and I was just like, holy shit, like, if you meditate every day, life is amazing. What the fuck? Why weren't we told about this 24, 30 years ago? You know,
at school.
It's mental. And all you're doing is sitting there in silence, thinking or not thinking, feeling or not feeling. It doesn't really matter. You know, but like 20 minutes of this every day, and you're like, yeah, I want more of this, man. This is class. You know? Meditation.
Yeah, it's mad,
man.
isn't it? Yeah.
Insane.
Oh yeah, you did an interesting kind of your own way of the Star Ruby. You had some interesting god shapes that I thought were quite cool for the different gods and stuff. You brought in Celtic gods, isn't that what it was?
Yeah, because I just wasn't feeling it with, like, I know who Babylon and Eros and all these ladies are. Of course I know them. You know, no, I don't. I know their names. But like, for me, but it's the same with the phallus thing as well. Like, for me, I can't get it past my head that I think Crowley is trolling everyone by saying phallus. You know, the phallus.
Yeah, I remember reading that in your article, and you're saying it's some long thing, it's a bit childish or whatever. And I understand that. But then it was kind of thing, you know, when you're walking home from the shop and you start thinking about things. I was going, is it maybe a bit more childish to think that that's childish? In the sense of, because we can't think of penis without going, ooh, and like, it kind of points to the fact that, you know, we're a bit immature around that, you know, and so our reaction to think when someone goes phallus, you know, rather than even something is, that's very childish, it's that, oh, well, hold on, maybe we've kind of, you know, that's kind of where I left, but I don't know, but I do understand the Crowley thing of,
I had exactly the same thought. Like, I mean, it's like, is Crowley trolling us here by making us say phallus, or is he doing a double troll by putting this in there because to get us to react how I reacted and just went, oh, this is juvenile. But like, Crowley knew people would react that way, or else it's a double blind. And then you're just like, I'm overanalyzing this is bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? But it's like, why is it phallus? Why isn't it not genitalia? Because like, obviously women are going to do it as well. Why didn't he make it sexless? But then again, he wouldn't have made it sexless because at the time that he wrote this in, there was no sexlessness or gender neutral stuff. So I get it. It's just, for me, it's just like, Willy, you know, because I'm like that. Willy
forehead, willy, shoulder, other shoulder,
and shoulders, knees and toes, and eyes and ears and head, shoulders, knees and toes. Carry on. You know, so look, I liked it. I liked what the Star Ruby was doing, because for me it was creating a kind of, I don't know how to explain it, like a bit like the Kabbalistic cross does. It creates an area or a space where you can meditate better, or you can evoke better, or invoke, whatever is your goal, you know. But it was just that, because I don't have a for me to do something, I need to kind of have a connection to it or something like that, you know. It's just, I'm not like like, for example, like, you know, the way I watch so much football, like if it's just like someone like, I don't know, Bologna and Crotone in Serie A, I don't care about those teams, you know. But if it's Juventus against one of those teams, then I'm like, oh, cool. Or if it's Napoli against one of those teams, I'm like, okay, I know more of the players. It's just a bit of some sort of fake connection or whatever, you know. So I just thought, right, so instead of doing this Babylon Eros psych thing, I made the first one, Danu, she's like the head bottle washer of the Celtic gods. Then Dagda, he's the first druid and the first warrior. Then there's Ogma, who's supposed to be the inventor of the Ogham language, so he's the poet and language, and he was also a druid. And then Cernunnos, even though like Cernunnos is a kind of a weird one for Irish people, because he wasn't really in the pantheon of the Irish Celtic gods. He was French or European rather than. As far as I could tell from my research, there's only one single mention of Cernunnos in Irish annals, which is hard to say. It's not annals, it's annals. And but still, he's a cool motherfucker. He's fucking got big stag antlers, man, and he's fucking shit cool, and he knows all about nature. For me, he's like Radagast of Lord of the Rings. You know, he's the brown wizard. He's the nature wizard. You know,
well, it's the form of the. It's like Pan or Heron or any of these type of things. Like, it's the nature of gods.
It's the
like
same
that
thing. It's just that they kind of, and I did these kind of yoga poses with them as well. Like Anu is like the one where you welcome the morning. You pretend there's a beach ball between your hands. You're just like, hello.
Yeah.
And then they did the warrior pose for Dagda, because he's the first warrior. What was the? It's a couple of days since I did it now. Ogma was the tree, because the. Each letter of the Ogham translates as a name of the trees as well. And then for Cernunnos, obviously you have to do the deer pose, because he's got antlers. Do you know? But it's just something that like it just clicked with me even more. Even though it was clicking and was working, and meditation was going brilliantly. After doing this, it got even better. So I was like, cool. Yeah.
And were we using the same attributes for then the promo Youngies section or whatever? Like, or what did you do in that?
No, I've left that. I haven't. I need to tackle that, but I'm going to keep that as it is. The left of me, the demons, on the right of me. I've kept that as it is, even though, like, the last line is like the pentagram around me or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I'm not drawing any pentagrams, you know.
Yeah.
But it's still. I know. I haven't. I haven't tackled it properly yet, because it's working. So.
Yeah.
But you're finding it brilliant as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I am, and I can definitely feel that each week is kind of has a different lesson that it's going to teach me. Yeah. What I've noticed, one thing is that from a health point of view, I've got really bad in that. We'll see. It's one of those things. Have I got bad, or am I expelling demons? It's really bad acne has come on. I've like my lips have gotten really dry, and like I very rarely get spots, whatever, and I've got loads of them, and not just kind of, you know, just a little blemish, like big, almost boil type things, like the, you know, proper that, you know,
teenager stuff. Yeah,
you know, that thing that when you talk can sometimes even be sore because it's such a, you know, I'm just kind of feeling run down. Like even my gums have started bleeding again, which they haven't. Like I used to years ago. I had bad kind of what's the gum thing?
Gingivitis, is that?
Gingivitis. No, whatever the one. It's not. It maybe just gingivitis, but that started again, which is very. And like I look after my teeth, so it's not that, you know, it's I've done something different or whatever, or like everyone looks after teeth. But what I mean is like it's that I've not changed. I haven't stopped brushing my teeth or anything. Like there's no. It's consistent in what I've always done, and I've noticed that over the last week. Just kind of, I feel, which I've never really felt as you know, as if, you know, in films wherever, or like in Indiana Jones, where your man sees the Ark of the Covenant and he kind of shrivels up. And I kind of feel like, in a sense, the energy's been a bit kind of drained, and I'm a bit... I'm not frail is not the word, but you know, as if the juice has been taken out of me a bit, and you know, and like one of my knees is really sore, and I have a bad knee, but it's the other knee, you know, and it's fine.
The wrong one.
I dislocated it years ago. I dislocated it. I was playing badminton years ago, and my foot stuck to the ground, whatever it was, and my span round. So my knee popped, and then on the spin back, it went back in. Luckily, but it like obviously turned into a huge big elephant head for weeks or days after. But this is my other knee, and it's just kind of. So that's an interesting one. That like I say, every week seems to have a different point to it or something. So what I did this week is I deliberately said, right, well maybe I should do, if that's happening for the last week, I'll do an invoking version of it rather than the banishing version of it, just to see if it makes any difference or. It hasn't yet, but it's only a couple of days, and you know these things, they don't really make sense until.
But are you invoking something after the kind of ritual is done, like?
No. Instead of a banishing pentagram, it's an invoking pentagram.
Okay.
Yeah, so instead of going from air to spirit, you go from spirit to air.
I get you.
Thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which in theory, the pentagram of the Star Ruby is different than the kind of pentagram of the Lesser Banishing ritual, because you actually draw it in the Lesser Banisher ritual of the pentagram, but in the Star Ruby, it's all done in your head, and you're not really drawing it. I assume you're meant to see it fully formed, and just out it goes.
Mind bullets.
So it's neither invoking or banishing. If you're not doing way. So then you go, is it intention? What is it, or is it deliberately? Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you are meant to draw them too. I remember when I did it originally. I remember reading that the pentagrams should be red, as in, hence the Star Ruby. But when I was looking through all the stuff this time, I didn't come across that at all. So I don't know if that was just whoever was the one person YouTube I was looking at that time or something who had said it. But it does make sense, it doesn't feel like, red pentagrams, whereas in the Lesser Banishing ritual, they're blue, or at least, that's
that's right. Them. I remember reading that as well, actually. Yeah, it's a funny one, because I wonder, like, to put, like, to always be stick to fucking Alan Chapman podcast at this stage, but like to be putting some of his advanced magic for beginners tips, like he says that, like, do a ritual, see what happens, but then the week after that, don't bother with the ritual and just see what happens. So it's like after the 4 weeks, and if we stop doing these and then just meditate, will it still be as good? And I don't know, because I just think that it's because you're doing this thing and you're creating a space. That's like Tommy Cooper. Tommy Cooper used to do all that.
Just like that.
And then he'd make a mistake. Fucking anyway, and I don't know. I don't know if the meditation will be as good. But then again, I'll have done proper meditation for like 4 weeks in a row, so it probably will be as good, because then you're 4 weeks more into it. Because like my meditation has always been patchy anyway. Like I might do it today for 20 minutes. I mightn't do it again for another 3 or 4 days. But like having a thing of like doing it every day has reaped amazing benefits,
Yeah. And even it's like, even the days where it's not great, having the kind of consistency is that you don't then just not do it for a week, You can just start again tomorrow. And I have. Did you find that at any point, like my meditation definitely went to shit at one point in the last 30 days as well. Like it's not that it was consistently great, or did you get it consistently? Like is it just great the whole time now?
Well, I had a couple of days where it wasn't going well, and it was funny actually as well. Actually, thinking about it now, I didn't even notice it, and I wrote this in the article. That on the there was 2 particularly bad days, and on both of those days, when I'm fucking struggling and wrestling with it, the father-in-law drove into the driveway, and I just said, fuck it, all right, I'm finished. Do you know?
Right,
Instead of struggling on in it. But like, I had been doing your man's incubation thing, and I found that was, I can't say it fully 100% worked, but I felt I was getting there. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So instead of it just being like, how am I supposed to do all these things at once? to being like, okay, yeah, I can see this now.
yeah.
Do you know? Because that's the thing. Like we were talking to Beanot about this, and he was like, "Don't worry about what it is, just do it."
Yeah,
But, like
yeah.
I kind of can't be like that. It's kind of like, well, sometimes I can because like I put my key into the ignition in the car and I turn it and it works. I have no fucking idea how it works, but it works.
Yeah, but you have a vague kind of idea that the big noisy thing turns the other thing.
Petrol goes on fire.
Boom! Steam engines. There's a steam engine. and there's a wee man
the hamster
with a
and
furnace.
The bees. And isn't it the bees and the birds and the hamsters have sex? And then the power of fart. I'm not having a clue. I should learn all this stuff, you know. And so, but I did kind of want to know. And reading your man's this Ingram's book, which is fucking Jesus Christ, 800 pages of fucking madness, and but it's just learning a little bit more about the kind of mechanics of it, and it's interesting, you know. It really is interesting. So like that's what I've been doing, just doing like normal meditation, which is the Chapman calls it the fire one. What's that called in normal meditation? Observation meditation or something, is it?
It's a form of noting meditation.
Noting, okay. So you have the noting, and then you have the beloved. I have no idea.
So that's kind of a form of meta meditation, which is loving kindness. You know, it's a form of it. It's not
and then incubation, and then I did some invoking of the HGA, but not since I left home. I haven't done any HGA.
Have you done any of the underworld meditation from Regia? That can be
I've done no underworld, no binding stuff at all, because I'm just like I just like the fire and the beloved so much. Do you know? Yeah. The binding stuff, okay. Obviously, there's some shadowy stuff I could be working on, but like, I'm all right. Like, I like these ones that I'm doing. I'll get there. I'll get there.
Well, I suppose the binding thing is not necessarily a meditation anyway.
No, it's true.
That's your homework, your practical homework. Yeah. But the underworld is an interesting one to do in that it can kind of mess with your perception of what, you know, you can kind of, like, as he says in the thing, you know, you can kind of have like an existential breakdown in it when you realise that, you know, that you can find a moment of life or now or whatever is the correct word. It's not now anyway, because that implies time, which is, you know, you're pointing at the fact that there's no time, or it's a continuation. But it is an interesting one, and it also he suggests that you don't have a timer with it, but it's because you get to the end of it when you get to the fruit, and it's going, I haven't got to the fruit. I'm not sitting here all day.
That's all right for you, Mr.
hours.
Man. Fucking charging hundreds of pounds for retreats and stuff. I have a job. I only have a spare 20 minutes every day.
If you want enlightenment, you have to be willing to pay.
Don't come cheap.
It's funny though, like, because I remember when I was kind of doing the Reiki stuff, and we'd be talking to some of the people who'd done all these courses, whatever, like weekend shamanic courses or whatever, and the amount of money people have been paying for things, it's just like grands and grands and grands of I think there was one that was a shaman, Filaldo. I don't know if you ever come across him. He's quite a famous guy. He was shaman, healer, sage. Alberto Filaldo or something. He's like South American.
Filatillo.
But he had, I think it was like $5,000 for a 2-day course or something like that they had paid. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's like, for me, a lot of those people are just like, they're like those, who was the YouTuber we were watching there for a while? CafeZilla, is it? CoffeeZilla? And he was doing these takedowns of... your man, Brian, London Real. He did a takedown of him. But he also went after that. Is it Alex Ong? O-N-G? He's another one of these YouTube self-styled gurus who show you how to market everything. And it's all just a pyramid scheme. And I just... Anyone selling retreats and stuff like that, it's just a red flag. Going off from you. Just like, no.
But the other side of it too, as well, though, is that that whole thing of going on a retreat and spending some time away just on your own, as you found, you know, coming out of your life for 2 weeks, and you said it felt like a retreat. So I mean, there's definitely a need for that, or a thing. I don't know.
Have you done a proper one?
I've done a couple. I've done a shamanic one. And it was enough that I didn't do any more. I was very much into...
Where's the ayahuasca, fuckers?
I know, yeah. I was like, all right, we're just going to sit here and...
There's no drugs?
Someone's going to drum.
No sex? Like, where are the condoms? I thought there'd be a bowl of condoms that we take, and then we put our keys into another... What's going on here? Why aren't we... Wait now, your wife's not hot. I'm not doing her. No. I brought the hot wife. That's part of the deal, lads. What the fuck? All your wives are mingers. Ugh. Turn around.
Yeah. So that was the end of the shamanic retreats for me. But yeah, I was very much considering doing like the 10-day silent retreat. That whole thing where no one's allowed to talk to you, and you're not allowed to talk to anyone. I was like, that just sounds amazing. I'd be into it. Of course, one of the things, the lockdown happened, and then no one was allowed to talk to me anyway. But the other thing was that I was going, this will be great. I'll be able to properly get some reading done and all that. And it was like, no, you literally don't do anything. You're not allowed to read either. It's not just. God. And I was going, I'm not into that. Me in a room for 10 days with myself. I'd go insane.
God, stuff. Like we did them in school, in secondary school. But like I went to a proper Catholic boys. Like it was run by priests and monks and all that kind of stuff. And I actually liked it. I thought it was very good. I ended up joining is it called Mehel program? It's an Irish prefix thing where you become like a big brother figure for first and second.
Right, yeah.
Do you know? I like that, like because I got really lucky as well because I ended up doing it for like my brother's class. So like, I ended up being like they're like. If they were having trouble with teachers, they'd come to me, like, and they all kind of felt okay with that because they knew me through my brother anyway. So it worked out really well, No, I liked that. I thought the retreats in school were quite good. Something weird happened though. There was one day we were doing it was 2 classes, so it was about more or less like 60 boys, And
it's just like a one-day event thing, or did you go off for a week?
Yeah, no, it was one day. Everything was one day.
Yeah.
So we were doing these like guided meditations and all, and it's the old one, like imagine you're on a beach, guided meditation. And next thing, one of the fellas, Kevin something was, I know who he is, fucking arsehole. And next thing he says, my uncle's touched me. Like it was pure silence in this meditation. And next thing I know, he just said, one of my uncles touches me. And everyone just went, what? And there was a nun and a brother, a monk, took him off. And we're all like, fuck, what the fuck just happened? And so your man had to put us back on the meditation, get that back.
Yeah.
But as soon as everyone's over, like, oh my God. And like, so eventually he came back and he was like, yeah, it was only messing, like, it was a joke.
Right.
Yeah, sure, man. Yeah.
We had kind of the same retreats, and we had an interesting type thing as well. Not quite as I said, we were all had to write down something on a piece of paper anonymously, and about our lives or whatever, and then it got read out or whatever. But there was like some horrible stories of what was going on in people's lives, like being beaten up and alcoholic parents and coming home to dark houses and no food or no heat, and it was maybe I was 16 or 17, 15, 16, whatever it was. It's just like such an eye opener because you just think, everyone, school, woo, or whatever. And then no, people are having,
you're poor.
Having absolutely nightmare different things. But what happened out of that kind of thing is our class group got really, really close, and it become like a very much a weird kind of unit. We bonded, and it's really weird. So much so that it was like a lot of teachers noticed this kind of thing and would comment on it, and it was but in the end they broke us up because of it, because they said that it was so stupid, what a rare thing that happens to a bunch of or to 30 kids and so because that's it'd be better for you to not have that, to
not
experience
have close relationships with friends.
Yeah,
fucking Ireland. Ireland's such a fucking mess weird when it comes to emotions, isn't it? Like you see this mother and baby stuff at the minute. Mother and baby schools. There were these industrial schools for single mothers. It's where the unwanted kids would go, and the nuns would beat the living fuck out of them for 16 years. And there's some report coming out about them, and the minister has said, no, that's staying sealed for fucking 20 years. No one's going to read that. No, we'd all like to read that, please. No. Okay.
No chance. Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just that's
Ireland's such an awesome country, but emotionally, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, finger absolutely pointed at the Catholic Church for all of that. There's no question of that. Like that's the reason for that. Like, Which is, and it's like that's still like talking about the retreats again. It was only a 1 day type thing for us as well. But we had a religion class, and what they decided to do, rather than having like 4 religion classes of 40 minutes over the thing, you'd have Friday morning became a kind of a mini retreat. Then where you had the whole morning where you do, the equivalent kind of stuff that you would do on these retreats. So that was quite good. And there was like meditation involved in it and stuff like that. So I mean, even then, whenever that was 50 years ago when I was at school, there was already a kind of a pull towards this type of stuff, which I hope is there now in school. I hope they learn a meditation. I know Vanessa, even with the preschool, tries to do a bit of yoga and a bit of meditation with them. But I mean, they're 3-year-olds. What can you do? But they love the yoga, and they'll
downward dog.
Yeah. But it was funny that one of the priests who was kind of not really into it, he was giving out about reincarnation, and he was always slagging off Buddhism and Hinduism and all this kind of stuff. He left priesthood after, very quickly, like while I was at school or whatever, and you could tell, he was probably protesting a wee bit too much about, that kind of thing. He doesn't really believe what he's going on about either. But I don't know. It's hard to know with the kind of the school thing, because you either radically change how we teach kids about life, or you kind of is injecting a week, 20 minutes of meditation once a week. Is that just like, sure, we've it sorted now? You know what I mean? Like the brand. They're now factory workers who know how to meditate.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I can only compare, obviously, Poland and Ireland from living in both. But like, I see the school system here is very, very different. It's very good at putting people on the track that they should be on, rather than what me and you had, where it's like, go to school, go to college, be happy. Okay, that didn't work out so well for any of us. No. But here it's like, you just come into school and you can pick a ton of subjects that you can do. Whereas like I was like even like when I was junior cert age, what is that, 15, 16? Like even then, I had a choice between, I had to choose between biology, physics and chemistry, and I could only do one of them,
Right.
And I could do 3 of them, but only if I really wanted to be a doctor, and 2 of them would have to be after hours. I mean, oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing biology because I was told that was the easiest. But yeah, other than liking animals, I don't fucking... I like animals on the outside. Not so much on the inside.
The inside.
Yeah. And so I should have done chemistry or something, because then you get the fucking explode shit. I'd love that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Whatever. But here they seem to be better at saying, right, what do you want to be? I want to be this. Okay, you go study this for a while, see if you like it. If you like it, stay on that path. If you don't like it, then we'll change. Then you can change to these subjects, and you can do that. Or even like they have these like tech schools, like what we have in Ireland, where you can go off and be a carpenter or an engineer or a coal miner, whatever the fuck it is.
So like
you know what I mean?
vocational skills.
Yeah. So I think it's much, much better here. And also they have this thing as well, which is very bizarre for Irish people. Very, very bizarre, Tommy. You won't believe me when I say this. There's no bullying in schools here.
What?
Isn't that bizarre?
That's not a real school.
Isn't that crazy? And actually, get this. This is going to fucking blow your fucking mind, right? The most popular kids in school here are the smartest ones.
What?
Fucked up.
Everything's upside down, Spud. Everything's upside down.
Poland is upside down land. Isn't it bizarre? Because
and how did they accomplish this?
Just by being nice people, I think.
Oh, right. See, that's the downfall.
That's why Poland isn't top of the charts anywhere, because they're too nice to each other. Isn't it mad, isn't it?
Polish, they're really nice to each other, but can they write a song? I don't think so. There's no misery.
They don't have a Bono. That's a good thing. It's bizarre.
They're not all absolutely flawed characters because of society. How are they going to be artists? They're not riddled with depression.
Well, it's mad. Like, I mean, like my school, like, I've never been in my school, and like you'd watch like an episode of fucking Saved by the Bell after school or something. You're like, why is my school so like that? That's not what school's supposed to be like, with the jocks and the fucking honeys and the fucking cheerleaders. I'm like, there's not even girls in my school. Why are these hierarchies in my Irish rural school when that's what happens in America? I'm not in fucking America.
Yeah.
I had these deep thoughts about this. because Kingsley and Chapman have all these thoughts about Western civilization and how it's on the down, and I'm kind of just saying to myself the whole time, yeah, but there's no such thing as Western civilization. It's too different, and like Ireland and America, they're close, but they're not the same. And like there's no way you can compare Western civilization of what America is to like have you ever been to Moldova?
Not recently.
But Moldova is way closer to Greece, where this fucking had started. So their version of Western civilization is more closer to the actual root than what some English lad living in fucking shitty, rainy Wales thinks about what Western civilization is. I haven't put them together yet. I think that their idea of Western civilization very much comes from an Anglophile thing of like, we conquered the world, ha ha. Our opinion.
No, you're right, but I don't think it's that they're coming from that. That's what they're pointing at, is that it's kind of that it's not necessarily like there's definitely rainy Wales compared to, I don't know, sunny Sicily, and culture and tradition are all very different, and we approach things, language and all that. I think it's what Western civilization is in the sense of Kingsley and Chapman. I'm not speaking for either of them, I probably have it wrong, but my understanding of what they're saying is that there's an underlying belief system that is, kind of in all all of that there's some kind of bubble or whatever. Yeah. Well, there is in the sense
I know what you're saying, but I don't think there is, because I genuinely.
Well, there is compared to say, the other cultures, like certainly like or other, like say even how India approaches the world. Not so much now because it's been quite westernized, but there's a completely different underlying philosophy or ethos to that informs all the other decisions that are then made. It's kind of I suppose.
I'm not so sure, man. I think humans are just humans. Yeah.
Then, like, can you not see a difference between the Roman Empire and the Western civilization that we have now? Do you still think, it's all humans, it's exactly the same?
Yeah, people are fucked up, man. I kind of do. Yeah. I just don't see that just calling it Western civilization doesn't really mean anything, because people are people. It's like, oh God, there was some book I read years ago about Aboriginals in Australia, and it was such a fucking niche, fucking weird book to read. And it was all about like these weird connections that they had between Western African tribes and Celtic Irish tribes. How all of these weird culture things all matched up. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. You convinced me. It's just like, I just think people are people wherever they are in the world. We all gossip. We all bleed red and shit brown,
Yeah, but you're also saying that the reason why you don't think Western thing is a thing because people are so different. The Polish and Irish people are, like, even down to the schools and the kind of way. So, I mean,
no.
Can't have it both ways.
No, of course. But I mean, yeah. I think the whole thing of saying that there's a Western civilization is like, no, but there isn't, because it's a house of cards. It just falls down when you examine it at all, because if we go back far enough, we're all the same. We're all the same,
yeah.
man.
No, I know what you're saying.
Get along.
Yeah, it's. I don't know what you're saying. But I think it's just handy, kind of shorthand to say, like, we know what we mean when we say Western civilization. Like, we know what that is. Like, we know what you're pointing at. Yeah. But it's like it's.
And plus as well, I think another point is that it's especially weird for Irish Celtic people, because, like, okay, you talk about Western civilization as being rooted in Hepatotopus, Octopotamus,
Empedocles,
Dr. Octopus, Spider-Man, Bane, etc. But hold on now, we had Brehon laws then, lads. Do you know what I mean? Like, we had a law system then. So okay, maybe your system in England is based on the Western Greek stuff, but like, we literally still have laws in Ireland that are 5,000 years old. We literally still have them. So okay, maybe your stuff is based on the Greeks, but like, yeah, we're older. We win.
What out of interest? What laws do we have? What are they?
We had divorce first, and then the Catholics came along and went, no, you can't have a divorce. But now they're back on the books, so we have it again.
But I'm sure the Greeks had divorce too, or the equivalent. Or
no, I don't know.
Irish weren't the first people to have divorce. Like, surely not.
Maybe. You have no idea.
And so what are the other ones? Because I love this kind of stuff.
I do. There was stuff with land ownership and all that kind of stuff. Women had loads of rights. Women had fuckloads of rights in Brehon law.
But is it kind of like these laws that you're allowed to shoot someone in Trinity College with a bow and arrow on a Saturday?
Well, yeah, because
but like it is the law, but don't.
Well, yeah,
you're going to prison if you do it.
Now, Brehon laws were like laws of the land type of thing. But then the Brits took over Ireland and enslaved us. Not enslaved us, but then forced their kind of laws on us.
I think that's a fair assessment.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just kind of have a bit of trouble when someone labels everything as, this is the Western way. It's like, yeah, I don't know, lads.
Yeah, but you have that kind of thing of that you've an antagonistic kind of approach to things. That someone says something, I'm definitely going to take the opposite approach. But I think that it's unfair because I'm kind of pointing it as a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that's how you understand things. I think that's how you get round. It's like you go, right, this guy's saying that. I'm going to try and find out why it's not true. But the difference I think between you and people who normally do that is that you're okay with them going, at the end, no, he wasn't.
I'm wrong.
Fine.
I'm totally wrong. Yeah, because I want to find the hole in the argument, and if I find the hole, then I hole. I haven't had sex in ages.
Phallus.
It's to find a hole and say, right, no, that's where it's falling apart. So no. But then I could be like, no, I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong. But look at me. Look at what I'm doing now. Consciousness, magic, HDA stuff. Totally wrong my whole life about being an atheist.
I think that the kind of the one downfall of the finding the whole thing is that there's always a hole. Because there's nothing ideal, there's nothing perfect. Yeah. And it's that thing that we've come back to before, it's particularly with occult people, is that there is always that one thing and you're better finding it as quick as possible about them. They're a racist, they're xenophobic,
Crowley was a sexual
misogynist.
Deviant. He wasn't even homosexual, but he still homosexually raped someone in a desert just for the crack. Rudolf Steiner was a massive racist.
Was he? Well, sure, the World War. You were saying Jung was sided with the Nazis at some point.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Oh no.
Yeah. There's always that thing. So it's. Then to dismiss everything else.
No, I know that.
And then I understand it. It's the John Lennon dilemma. Like I know exactly what it is. And are you right? If Hitler was an absolute, as soon as you bring up Hitler, the end of the conversation. But if he was an amazing painter,
he wasn't bad.
No,
he's not the worst.
But he's not great. He's fine. But say he was amazing, Leonardo da Vinci level thing. Could we appreciate his art? Should we appreciate his art? I don't know. I don't know the answer. I genuinely don't. Although I do like John Lennon songs, knowing, what an awful man he was.
Jesus.
It's a tough one, but I think you're going to have to at some point just accept, particularly around occult things, that they're not good people in certain areas. That whole thing Ken Wilber talks about, that people can be quite advanced in a particular area, in a particular set, like they can be awakened. But misogynist, or they can be extremely extremely open and generous or whatever, and hate Jewish people or whatever. It's just something really weird.
On the Kingsley stuff, what I kind of find a little bit hard about Kingsley is that he seems to have this obsession with finding out where Western civilization comes from. All right. So for me, I'm like, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't. We're here where we are now, and okay. Cool. Okay, man. You have that thing. But also as well, like that recent new book about how they didn't actually go to caves and do incubation meditation. They actually went to caves and got high off their fucking chops on rotten beer or rotten grain in their beer. And they would speak to the lady, what's the god's name?
Which one?
The one, the fucking
Persephone.
Persephone's, yeah.
Also,
So they'd get off their nut, Persephone's, high as kites for 2 or 3 days, and talk to her about their dead wife who's beside them in the cave. Does this not blow Kingsley's stuff fucking wide open?
Well, I don't know. I don't, because I've yet to read the book, but I've watched the podcast, so I do know what you're talking about. My kind of just initial uneducated response from as playing Kingsley is that maybe he doesn't talk about it because he still has that kind of academic thing about it, and he just doesn't want to be, doesn't want to fall prey to the thing that Graham Hancock fell prey to is it's all dismissed just because it's all drugs, go away. You know, that's one of the main things that's kind of.
So you think he knew but didn't write about it?
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm saying, that could be one reason, you know, why he doesn't. But he definitely, he never mentions drugs once, or even the kind of thing, and he doesn't ever claim he's done it. But he never, you know, he's not, there's no anti-drug paragraph in any of his books either. I don't know. Yeah.
I understand you.
You see, his point is that, because you were saying, like, what's the point of knowing where it came from, is that his thing is that it was deliberately seeded, and there was an idea behind it, and that because we can look to the East, if we believe in the East as a culture, there seems to be a thing in it that, you know, there was a reason for it to have developed, you know, that there's a spiritual kind of backline to it, or whatever. And because we don't seem to have that in the West, apart from have this kind of Christian enslavement of thought or whatever, that it's important to understand why this started in the first place, so that the yearning we have to find this thing that, you know, is the reason why we end up having to go to the East, because it wasn't being fulfilled in the culture that we have. And so people went, you know, because you had that kind of thing, if you said you had some sort of spiritual experience to, you know, your priest or whatever, and they would just go, yeah, just don't talk about that, you know, that's, you know, there's no spiritual experience. You know, we'll preach to you on a Sunday about all the wonderful Jesus things, whatever. But that happened 2,000 years ago. Nothing more. Don't believe Jesus when he says something that I agree with as a priest, but not when he says that you two are gods, or you know, any of these kind of stuff. So we ended up going, oh well, we want this. Well, what is I'm having these experiences. What is it? And we ended up having to go to the East, because they had, well, we've books of this stuff.
I get that, because we have this thing in Western civilization that we're a logical, thoughtful. I'm doing the antlers.
Yeah.
We're logic. We're logic. We're scientific. We're logic, and so everything can be explained. But he says that no. Well, actually, look, this all came about through woo stuff. Anyway, Like these lads went to caves and fucking hung out with gods, and then and then Socrates came along and kind of codified it a bit better. They wrote it a bit more nicely. And
then Plato ruined it all.
Then Plato ruined it all. But before Socrates was these Dr. Octopus and Bane, etc. Spider-Man. What was it? Empedocles, yeah? And
Empedocles, Parmenides, so it's like the father of of what we consider rationality and stuff like that. But like,
but their rationality was based on woo. You know? On
woo, on talking to a goddess. You know,
no, that's no. I do actually understand that. I was out of line there. I retract the last 15 minutes of what I was bullshitting. Please,
no, but it's an important thing.
Because I know you hate editing podcasts even more than I do. I hate editing podcasts so much I don't even fucking do a podcast anymore. You know, but like, no, okay, I get that, because like in the Middle Ages and stuff like that, if people had a kind of spiritual experience, or they had a spiritual wanting in their life, they had the church to turn to, you know, because it was more spiritual. There were more saints, far more saints, and there was loads of holy people even in your villages, shamans or whatever, who would loosely have been Christian shamans anyway, you know. Whereas we don't have that now, because thanks to the Enlightenment, like, we're full on logic. You know?
We're full on Richard Dawkins. Like that's it. Like,
But life isn't logical, so I get that.
Life may be logical. Humans definitely aren't. That's you know, we're pretending we're Vulcans when we're certainly not. And you know, that's. But yeah, it's an interesting one, I suppose, that in the Kingsley's thing, that because of the thing that you said, oh well, I go back. I had exactly the same experience with it, where I was going like, you know, that doesn't make any sense to me. But it's just when you kind of, which is why I suppose I was kind of pushing a bit that there is a Western kind of civilization, because it's evident in that rationality thing that we've done. That's the current that became. That's the thing I was trying to say. That underneath it all, there's this base thought or idea of rationality or whatever it is. That's one of them. I mean, there's probably 5, 10, 20 things. And that is the reason why, say, Polish people and Irish people are part of the Western civilization that most people to India maybe aren't. Probably are now, because then the Westernization extends and all that kind of stuff. But so it's It's an interesting one. It's something I really like. It's kind of the thing that we look for when we kind of want to go to our spiritual roots, and we go, Celtic, and we go to that. It's like looking for that initial seed, to use the Margia sense again, of spirituality that's completely absent in our life and times. Like there's a dressed up, Catholic Christian thing going on that's not like.
I kind of think it's a bit different for us as Irish people, though, because like when I listen to English or British people talk about it, I don't think they don't have the history we have. You know what I mean? Sure, Jesus, even Poland here. Poland's only 1,000 years old. Like compared to Ireland, you go away, will you? You child.
Yeah.
What the fuck? You know what I mean? We were building pyramids before the Egyptians. There's still one or two of them left. Go away to fuck. Will you? You're 1,000. Go on, you child. Get up out of here. You're not even a teenager. No, but like, so maybe other countries don't have this thing because they don't have a connection with their past as much as what we do, Whereas, honestly, I do, because like, like you're in school, you're a child, and you already know what Newgrange is. That's mind blowing. Other countries don't have that.
Yeah.
Like it's only now in Poland. I remember talking to someone a couple of years ago. He's a city politician. He's a cool guy. He runs for the Autonomia Party, which wants autonomy or federalisation for this part of Poland.
Cool. Clues in the name, really,
isn't it? Obviously, I'm going to fucking join his party. Viva la Revolution. But he was telling me that
you'll turn out to be a racist, or something. There'll be something there.
Polish man who
hates Irish people. No Irish.
And he was telling me that like the more and more archaeological digs are being done here over the last couple of years, and tons of them are just Celtic, and they're realizing like, holy fuck, like we have this huge Celtic roots to our nation that we don't know about. Like we don't know that. We just think we're Slavs, and I'm like, yeah, but Slavs are just Celts that didn't go west. They just went east or stayed here. And he's like, yeah, we're finding that out now. I was like, okay, how did you not know that? No, but he's like, but we didn't have this history. We just didn't know, because it's like, the Celts and the Slavs split, but then the Slavs went to Russia and came back. But turns out they didn't go to Russia. They were here the whole fucking time.
Right. Interesting, isn't it?
So it's mad interesting, yeah. Plus as well, like, I mean, the Poles and the Slavs, they have their gods as well. Honestly, I can't get this. Call me anti-English or xenophobic or whatever, but I can't get this thing out of my head that like they don't have this history of gods like what we had in Ireland and what the Slavs had, whereas the British are just like, Protestants, we have condoms,
Yeah. Well, no, I think that the thing that what happened is because the Roman Empire never got to Ireland. So, and what the Roman Empire did is that rather than it coming in and landing in, I don't know, place A and went, oh, you have these gods, right? They're now part of the whole thing. Let's move on. They didn't kind of banish the gods. They didn't kind of get rid of it. But it just became, Hermes became Mercury, Ares became Mars. We just, we're having them. There are names now and, thing. But that didn't land, obviously, in Ireland. So we got to keep all our stuff. It didn't, who's in your Star Ruby thing, you have the scribe. Who invented
Ogma.
Yeah, so that would have been Hermes. That would have been, brought in, or in the way Tahuti or Tot or whatever way you want to pronounce that word. It's all considered the same because they point at the same things. But depending on what way you want to look at, they mightn't be the same, things. But so it is the kind of fact that I think we missed out on the Roman Empire. What did they ever do for us? Well, literally nothing to do with it. But we still obviously got influenced by it because when the Roman, then, well, I suppose the English forgot about the entire Roman thing, the roads and the toilets and all of that. They forgot how to build them, and then they came over to Ireland, said, we'll have your stuff, please.
We need fuckloads of boats to take over the world. And Ireland was like, oh yeah, grand, yeah, we'll sell you a few boats. No, we're not buying. Chop your head off.
As Eddie's out says, yes, I have a flag. Have you a flag? We don't have a flag.
Oh God. So we're both anti-English now, huh?
Well, see, you have to eventually get to the point where you see the nastiness of the person. It's so weird though as well, because like it's Irish people have this kind of, the undercurrent of the, 600 years, blah, blah, blah. But like, I have loads of English friends, and it doesn't annoy me at all.
Yes,
in an actual thing. It's a
No.
culture thing. It's like, which is why I think people don't understand the love of the Queen and monarchy that, English people have, or some English people have, because it's just like, that's definitely the kind of bastion of, where the hate is focused on, is that, the established royal English thing, I feel, anyway. But it's the general kind of British thing. I'm a big fan. To be fair, they make great music, some great films, mediocre soap operas, but like, that's
Yeah, of course, yeah. I don't know. It's something that struck me immediately from the Magia 1 year anniversary stuff, that it was a very down, not for all of them, but in the first talk, it was a very downbeat, kind of pessimistic view. And I was like, yeah, man, you live in Wales. I've been to Wales. A good few times, actually. Yeah, no, I wouldn't live in, no. That's fucking suicide town. Like, why? Like, just get the fuck out of there. You'll be happier. Shit.
He has since.
Yeah.
It's that's, I suppose, it's definitely coming from Catafalque, which is, the most heaviest book I've ever read in my life. So there's that influence, but it's also it's kind of a response, I think, to the kind of toxic positivity that New Age and occult circles have an awful lot, where everything's great. If you just work hard enough, all of that kind of Protestant work ethic, the Tony Robbins thing, you don't want it enough, all of this kind of thing. We're just going like, now, hold on a second, it isn't, life isn't perfect. Like, there's a lot of, there is a darkness to this, and it's like the Jung thing, of course. Ignoring the darkness is, it's a way of not dealing with the darkness. It's pretending it's the, if I ignore it, it'll go away. And it doesn't go away, it gets worse.
Ryan Holiday, he says it a lot in his book. It's like, look, for every one fucking rags to riches story that you're aiming for, there's 199 people who failed. And you just have to have the fucking character for when you fail to dust yourself down and try and go again, He's right.
The first time I ever really realised that, I was reading, Nick Hornby, and he's but he's one about football, and he's talking about,
it's good.
But he's talking about this goalkeeper who had obviously spent his entire life being a better goalkeeper than everyone in the school. It was really great, and he had a career coming out. NordVPN, will you go away? And he came out and he had his first game and he had a disaster. And he let 2 goals in. I think he scored an OG. So, all this thing. And then that was the end of his career. And it was going, that's the story that's never told. You only hear about the Peter Shilton. I don't know why the first name that I could think of. I just, but that's probably the more frequent story. Is the disaster, the thing that falls apart. And it's just, it's like Kevin Costner, I think, said in Oprah one time, or I could be, maybe I've dreamt this, but he's going like, there's no point in asking me how I got here as a kind of a plan that you can have to get here. It's just pure luck. I happen to be there. I'm not the most talented man in the world, or whatever it is. Just it worked out for me, but you can't rely on that.
I have a good Costner story for you. There's it's written about in Dances with Wolves, right? It's a brilliant book. It's fucking brilliant. So it is. It's probably one of the last bits of fiction I think I read. And it's absolutely class. Your man has it's the second or third edition or something I have, and he has a little intro, the writer in it, and he's like, he had this story of just being a fucking failure at Hollywood. He had been a script writer, done a couple of stories or a couple of scripts. 1 or 2 came really, really close, and at the last hurdle, 1 fell, and he's just like, jeez, what the fuck am I doing? Like, why am I not getting there? But he's doing this thing, like, to loop back to the start of the podcast. He was fucking forcing his life. He was taking life and just grabbing it by the neck and just, come on! I want to be a screenwriter! And he got a phone call one day from his buddy, and so they met up for coffee. And your man is like, man, you're not a screenwriter. You're not. You've wanted to be a novelist all your life. Why are you doing this? I want to do this because this is successful. I want to win an Oscar. I want to You know, man, what do you really want? I want to write a book. Write your fucking book. Write your fucking book. And when you write the book, I'll be in the film. Who was it? Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner
Right.
gave that advice to his friend, and Costner had only been in 1 or 2 films before that. Not Dancing Wolves is what made him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it wasn't Kevin Costner, megastar, giving you advice. It's just
No,
Kevin,
it was Kevin
my mate.
Costner, his friend, like, you know, giving his advice. Just write the book, and when the book's ready, we'll get it turned into a film then. And yeah, Dancing with Wolves won 7 or 8 Oscars, wherever the fuck it was. You know what I mean? Great book, absolutely brilliant book. So it is, brilliant. And but yeah, what a cool piece of advice. But like, did you listen to the Ryan Holiday thing? What's it called? Ego's the Enemy.
No,
It's good.
no,
It's
not yet.
full of stuff like that. It's just like, look, it's not
Right.
about wanting it or needing it or doing it. It's about how you react to all the steps along the fucking way, you know? It's a good thing at the start. He's like, you're either a doer or an R-er. You know?
Right.
So it's like, okay, I'm a YouTuber. There, you're a YouTuber. Or you're someone who makes films. You know, there's a big difference, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you're either someone who works in the back. Like, he gives these great examples of like military guys who like worked for 50 years in the military. No one knows their names, but without them, you wouldn't have coffee machines or whatever the fuck they invented. I don't know.
Right.
How to kill 50 Arabs with a press of a button. For example, you know,
Just a wild example, plucked from nowhere.
just stuff like that. And like, they're reading the book, you're just like, yeah, these people fucking, they knew it. Like, they're better. You know, but shit, look at me, man. How many years have I been hammering at trying to fucking do this and trying to do that? And now I'm just like, what are you doing, you idiot? You know, just fucking
But
be
we
yourself.
were told by
Yeah.
people who are meant to know that
Yeah.
that's what you do. You see, that's.
Yeah, that's it, man. You know,
But it's like the whole, like, again, this is the Alan Chapman podcast. It's something. It's like it's the thing that's fooled you into getting the opposite of what you desire, or what you intended. You know what I mean? It's that. Like, there's mad, like, even, I don't know, whatever it is, 3 or 4 years ago, I have a post on Adventures in Woo Woo, which is, are you getting the opposite of what you get? It's good. Like, there was a kind of already an appreciation of that fact.
yeah.
It's somewhere in the back of my mind. Like, it's definitely, it wasn't brought out as in the way it is in the Magia stuff or whatever, but it's, you know, it's something, it's the splinter in your brain of the Matrix, you know, it's that kind of thing that, you know, that even though Tony Robbins, you know, speaks a good game, gets all riled up and motivated, whatever, but every time you try to apply that stuff, it's not working out for you.
Yeah.
Are you just getting more frustrated? Are you getting, you know, more dug
It's
into
like,
your...
if you want to see some tragic stories, just go to the fucking what's his name, Neville Goddard subreddit. Why isn't this working for me? You know, I have they call him SH. SH is a significant hudder. No. What is it? It's someone you target that you want to attract. It's like, you sad bastards, just get Tinder. What the fuck is wrong with all you people? But like, people like sit there and meditate on this one person that they met 20 years ago who they want to marry, and it's like, you fucking losers. Seriously, just get Tinder.
like an actual person called Lisa that I went to school with. That's what they're trying to...
Yeah.
Right,
I'm reading it, just go, you, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Seriously, Tinder takes a minute to install. Do you know, go to your nightclub, stand outside, search Tinder. There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and I mean, I know, like, at the same time, I understand life's hard for people. It's easy for me to say that, because I can make friends easier. I can, all that stuff. But I also couldn't for a long while. And
Man, life's only as hard as you make it. But once you realise you're making it hard, that's the fucking best day of your life, because you're just like, what am I doing? Why am I out here? I don't need to do this. I need all these fucking problems.
Yeah, but I think it's a bit. Let me see. It's a bit easy to dismiss, or not dismiss. That's not the word I want to use. It's a bit easy to kind of condescend to people and by going, oh, you're only making life harder. But I know I fooled myself millions of times about things, and although it's my fault, I think it's unfair to kind of be, you know, pointed and laughed at, because we all do it. We all have things.
No, I don't mean it in that way. You know, I don't mean to
yeah.
condescend to someone. I just mean that, like, I'm supposed to explain it a bit better. Sure, I done it as well. Do you know what I mean? Trying to videos and podcasts and all these fucking things. And you're just like, then you realise one morning, like, I don't like doing this. This isn't fun anymore. And it's not even to do it for everything should be fun. Not everything should. Work is work. It doesn't always have to be fun. It's just like, it's not who I am. What am I at? Like, I know who I am.
Yeah, because definitely your train of thought around that time was trying to do something rather, you know, I have to work out how this works. You know, what am I going to do? I do this, and it's going like, I was saying to you, and you know, you'd say to yourself now, it's like, what do you like? What do you want to do? Not what
Yeah.
you think is the right thing to do.
Yeah,
You know, like,
yeah,
what is
yeah,
the,
yeah.
you know.
But that's it,
what-
man.
what-
I spent fucking 30 odd years trying to do the right thing, and it's like, yeah, but if I just stuck to what I was doing when I was 16 and just having the crack, life probably have worked out a little bit easier, you know, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's but same thing happened to me when I went back, and I says, well, what point, you know, was I the happiest? What was I doing? I was drawing, so I started drawing again at 27, and it's exactly the same story. But you see, I started drawing again. I still didn't learn all the lessons because I still, you know, still applied the kind of multi-level marketing scheme of new ageness and entrepreneurship to all the things. And it was only then when I finally the back got broken of me and I gave up. And the surrendered and said, right, let's do something just for me, which is the equivalent, you know, what the thing, the 47s. And, you know, like, I mean, that's not to say that if life is beating you down and you get broken and then you do some sort of selfish act that you're going to, come out roses. It did for me, but I think there is a truth in, not in the details, but in the kind of bigger picture, the kind of the theme that there's truth in, rather than in.
But look, it's
and I think
just
if you
the
look
fucking-
at details of other people's lives, I think you're falling for the scheme. You're falling for the
Yeah.
you
You're
know.
following the same steps as someone, and then you're just echoing what they're doing. It's like,
yeah.
fucking watch some Joseph Campbell things and fucking realise that you are on your own hero's journey, and look for the points and say, shit, I missed that. Okay, I can do that again. Or I can go back and try that again, or whatever. You know, it's grand. Mir, come on, tell us what the fuck comic's coming out this by the time this comes. No, this will be.
Yeah, but no, it'll be.
So it's the weekend, yeah.
Yeah, so Wednesday or Thursday, it'll be up on Patreon, and then on Halloween Saturday, isn't it? Yeah, isn't it? Let me look at this handy.
Halloween Saturday. What the fuck? There's no such thing as Halloween Saturday. There's Halloween or there's All Saints Day.
Oh, is Halloween on a Saturday? Is what I mean.
Yeah,
is
Halloween
it the Saturday?
Yeah. I think it's something weird this year. I think it's like the first in, 666 years that there's a red blood moon or something. Killed
Nice.
sheep or something. No, I don't know. There is some moon event happening this year, which is rare on Halloween. You know.
Yeah, so it'll be out as a PDF. We're also doing the Halloween ritual on Patreon, where the box that the original 40 servants get housed in. Anyone who's a patron
don't
gets
burn it.
put a wish in. What's that?
Don't burn it.
Oh no, don't burn it.
burn the
No,
box.
the very, the very original ones. And we put every year we put in like kind of your wishes for the year or your goals for the year for people. That's pretty interesting. But you can do your own version of that too. It's not just paywall thing. If you on Adventures Woo at the minute, there's videos and blogs and stuff explaining how to do it yourself, whatever. So yeah, it's a busy week for me. I'm also doing the print, a new print where I combining two servants. It's the messenger and the dead for this year. I did the witch and the protector. I thought it was last year, but Facebook Memories has proved that it was 2 years ago. So, yeah, so busy week. Good. I've been busy the last while.
Halloween's good. Why is it Halloween? Because of the wicked thing, the solstice thing.
No, it's just it
Celts was
lined
the-
up that.
the Celts was the end of year for them, wasn't it? Wasn't it? The
Well,
end of the
yeah,
year?
it's the end.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
No, it wasn't. Was it? 21st of December would have been the end of the year because that's when the day
Yeah,
is the shortest.
that's
Yeah,
the-
sorry,
yeah,
no. But this was the second last festival of the year then.
Yeah, it's when the veil is at its thinnest
Yeah,
and all that
yeah,
kind of stuff. But it's just the Halloween thing. It's out of the, when I was doing the 47s, it just happened to be, I'd finished them and then like 3 days later, whatever it was Halloween. So because that was a perfectly kind of auspicious day to activate them. So they were activated on Halloween night. So it's just to kind of redo that every year. But why not? Halloween's a cool day to do it on. It's my favorite holiday anyway. So do you like Halloween?
I like it more because people don't like it here. People are like, oh, it's commercial,
Alright.
it's American. And I'm like, it's Irish. I'm Irish. Fuck you.
Yeah, pumpkin.
Only
we did turnips.
It's just the church came out a bit against it a good few years ago here, so people still have it in. Like they used to do it in Mickey's first play school, young lad's first play school back in Katowice. They used to dress up and stuff like that. But in this play school, they don't do it because they have enough days. But anyway, they have a similar thing called Anjaki, St. Andrew's Day, and that's
Right.
also like a Slavic occult day It's very similar to Halloween anyway.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So it's same fucking like they do these funny things where like every girl in the house will take their shoe off and they'll match the shoe up from the wall and one shoe up to the door, and then whoever gets the door first, I think, gets married that year. And then there's another one. You get a big the old keys with the hole at the top of it.
Yes,
You drip some candle wax through it onto the water below it, and then that'll spell out the name of your husband. It's a lot of it's got to do with getting married, because shame of having an unmarried woman in your house. No, it's good, but I think that's the that's the weekend before Advent, so it's soon enough. It's December or something, November, so it's a month later. But it's very similar in its traditions, But no, Halloween is a thing here where young people just use it as an excuse to party. They don't have a clue that it's actually a very, very old Celtic tradition, Whereas, like, I'm fucking beating the drum, the Celts! Yahoo! Let's get drunk and bob for apples, But yeah, I loved it at home. Of course I did, because it's a mad night at home. It's mental. Like,
well, of course, it's cancelled this year in Ireland.
Yeah, it's cancelled this year. Yeah. Like
I reckon so is Christmas. I know that's being pessimistic, but it's pretty. Like, I mean, pretty obvious that it's good.
Yeah, come on, cheers up, because the comic's deadly, man. I've seen it. It's class.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
It's very how to say it now? It's very different in style of what you've done before. Do you know? You can see that there's like, it looks like there's fucking 15 years between what you've done last and what you've done now, because it's just like, wow, that's different, I
think it's 7 years since I last did a comic. Yeah. It's that kind of style. It's obviously very heavily influenced by manga, which I hadn't really read. Although, like, I mean, Them is kind of a manga influence too. Like, it kind of has that kind of. It's remember years ago, you used to have that TV program that'd be on that cartoon, and it was about like antibodies, and they were inside the body.
The French one.
That's kind of there's something that really kind of stuck with me about the look of all that kind of stuff, which kind of filters through. But the kind of style is similar to what I did towards the end of Road Crew, in that one. But it's like. I'm better at it now than I used to be. It was what I was attempting to do in some ways. That I'm able to do it. Of course, by spending some time doing actually learning it and working on it and having a kind of a proper. Like, I knew what I wanted it to look like, rather than I was just going to do it and hope it came out. Like, I had a very precise. Very very precise. This is what it's going to look like. And then how do I do that? What do I need to do to get it to that? So I'm delighted in that way. And I've sent it to a couple of people, and it's all been very, very positive, which is great. But it's odd though. It's when I was doing the Holy Numbers, I think there was 6 people proofread it, and not just kind of. There's 6 people who know how to proofread, and there's still 2 spelling mistakes in it. And there's like a couple of people. I'd say probably 6-7 people have read it separately in different versions. Every time someone points something out, I'll fix it. And last night, in the final version that I assumed would be the one that uploads to PDF, there's someone found a spelling mistake.
Of course there is. Yeah. You know what to do?
There's enough.
Can you grab all the text off it in one go? No?
Oh, it's really, really simple to. Oh, do you mean like? No,
select all, like. Select all of
because it's all. Each page is a different file.
Pain in the arse.
Yeah, and there's no spell check in the program.
Oh fuck! Because
yeah.
If you just drop it all into a Google Drive file, it'll find them all.
Yeah, and I mean I have Grammarly as well. It's what I did wrong was that I wrote the text after I'd done the art, and so I was writing it as the thing. What I need to do is have that worked out. There's like some mistakes I've made in this one that I won't make in the next. Not mistakes, some learning experiences I had during this that I'll know how to be an awful lot more efficient doing the next bits.
So you should. Do you mean you should have the script first and then do the art, or the art first and the script? Which is it?
Well, you see, what I usually do is I have a rough idea of what the text is going to be. Like, I mean, the character walking through the town, I knew roughly what he was going to say, and I at what points this thing, but I hadn't the exact thing worked out, the actual thing. I didn't do that until after the art. So I need to get tighter on the thing, because even down to spending all the time drawing the stuff behind the speech balloon that no one's ever going to see. So if you have the speech balloons done first, you don't have to draw that. So there'll be just so much less art you have to do. Even down to very practical things like that. But then also that I haven't the ability within the program in Clip Studio to have a spell check. So, it's how impossible it is to see your own spell mistakes without the wee red line under it.
Do you know what I liked about it as well is that it's just my problem with fucking comics in general. Is like, even, a good few months ago when we were talking a lot about Grant Morrison and I eventually bought The Invisibles. Yeah, it's grand and all, but kind of my problem with a lot of comics is that they're aimed at juveniles. You know what I mean? I'm 38, 9 now. You know what I mean? I'm 20 years past or more what a normal comic audience is. So it's like.
Well, I mean, the average age of comic readers is 50. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, but Stan Lee must have been bumping that up for a long time.
But it just made but it's still. I agree with you. They're still telling stories for kids, even though the vast majority of people who are reading them. Well, maybe it's just a nostalgia thing that people enjoy. So let them at it. Maybe. I'm not into superheroes, but it's so I understand people are. Yeah.
No, but I just mean that like. What I don't like about them is that I find them a little bit kind of maybe condescending to your level of intelligence. Because it's like, okay, this is aimed at a 15-year-old. I'm 40. Yeah. I'm smarter than the 15-year-old. Okay, so so like I read a page, I'm like, yeah, I already know what the next 5 pages are going to be. Whereas like reading yours, I'm like, I have no fucking idea what's going to happen next. I haven't a fucking clue. It's aimed at adults. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's wonderful. No, that's what I really liked about it. Is your man this main character who's in the first episode? Is he going to be in it a lot? Or what's the story, can I ask?
He's in it, but he's not the main character by any way. Like you mightn't see him for ages now. He's kind of
what do they call it?
He'll come in
Greek chorus. Is that what they call it?
I don't know.
In Greek chorus, when you have it's like it's very Babe the film has it. Whereas like between each scene, the little three mice pop up and they tell you what's going to happen, or they summarize it or something like that.
Oh, it's like the Shakespeare thing of the narrator, the guy. That's it. Yeah. Again, something like that. Like, I mean, no, I'll not say anything because I mean, there's so much I could say about it that I won't, because it'll spoil. But there's like, as much as there's more going on in that. There's way more stuff going on in that opening scene that obviously unfolds as it comes.
Yeah. Presume that if say like the 5th episode comes out and then you go back and read the first one and be like, ha, I see what you did there. Yeah. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's the idea. But also with allowing it, because like it is, I'm kind of loathe the word these days, but it's a hypersigil in the sense. But to give it, some sort of space, to not force it. It doesn't have to be, there's plenty of room for it to develop in its own way. I have a goal for it. There's an end point, but it's how to get there. It's kind of in a sense up to them, which I find is the best way of kind of like when I did them. The ending is at the beginning. Like there's a bit at the it opens with the ending. So I knew he had to get to that place. Yeah, but I also knew I was going to put him in a fucking shitload of thing. And like to the point of that you probably could have get out of or written it in such a way that he didn't get out of it. And didn't get to the thing. So like you have to have the risk involved that this mightn't work out. Just think Alan Moore said years ago, and I don't know about what book it was. It could have been Jerusalem, but I think it was a comic for some reason, where he had the whole thing set up or whatever, and he wanted to see himself how it would end, just hoping that it would be a pleasing resolution, not necessarily a good, pleasing in the sense of that everyone was happy, like, but that it had a successful resolution.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't going to plan it, he just wanted to see, and he just hoped that it worked out. And he says in the end it did, for him. But so I like that kind of idea. But it's also with some sort of structure, because it's not because you tend, if you don't have a kind of a goal, you don't have a place where the people are going or that kind of thing, it's just going to meander. and it's gonna go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I have a meandering type of storytelling kind of thing anyway, particularly as I say, it's going to be a bit like a soap opera, so it could just fall apart very, very quickly. So there has to be some sort of backbone to it somehow.
Yeah. So how far do you see it going? 10 episodes, 20?
Loads.
Loads, yeah.
Yeah. Like there's 1, 2, 3. What's that? Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 full people's storylines in it.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
All centered around one seaside town.
Nice.
I can't wait. See, I can't wait till well into it, and then you can kind of talk about it a bit more.
Yeah,
I obviously don't want to spoil it.
I guess. No, you can't.
But I know the match. That's what I'm saying.
I don't even know the name of the main character yet, because you just
yeah.
have your man with the fucking the cool mask, No, it's great. No, I'm delighted for you, man. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man.
Very good. So well done. I'm looking forward to it. Everyone, go and buy the fucking comic, tight bastards.
pay what you want. So I mean, you can literally put your own price tag on it. Which involves pay what you want. Ultimately, you don't have to pay anything if that's
£666 sterling, please. Bye bye.